Welcome to Draw One Last Breath Horror Podcast. My name's Matt.
Now, Butch.
I'm Johnny Paul.
Welcome to episode 183. On this episode, we've been to the cinema, and this is a big one. We're going to watch 28 Years Later. And our movie from the vault is Cat's Eye from 1985. How are you doing on this sweaty, hottest day of the year?
Well, straight from
Right, it's not that hot over here.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's
It's
hot, but
like
it's not sweaty
33
hot.
degrees over here.
Although I am suffering from a wee cold, so that maybe that's it. But yeah, no, other than that, all right, all right.
yeah, I haven't got the rage virus or anything, so I'm good. I'm being too busy in the last couple of weeks as well. I haven't watched too much stuff. But there's definitely something that we need to talk about, which is what is it called? The latest Predator thing. Was it the Killer of Killers or something like that?
Yes, the killer of killers.
Is that what it's actually called? Killers of Killers?
Yeah,
Hmm.
killer of killers.
I didn't really take stock of that. But yeah, Killer of Killers. Interesting title. What do we think about this? So you all both watched it.
Yes.
Yes,
So this is the thing from Disney, which is from Dan Trachtenberg, who did Prey, and we loved Prey. A animated anthology Predator series, which kind of came out of nowhere, like Prey did. Um, Literally, I think we had like a couple of weeks' notice, and it sort of explores basically what everyone we talked about on the podcast, which is all the awesome ideas that you could do with this franchise. Um, and he did it. He sort of he went back into Viking times. He went back to samurai times and World War I, was it World War II?
Well, so
Um, yeah. What did you boys think?
I really loved it. I thought it was really, really good. And I was like, I wish they'd made this into a film. I don't know whether it's too hard to make into a film or even a trilogy of films. I would have watched it all day, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the animation was really, really good. It's really gory, really, really gory. But I fully enjoyed this.
Cool.
right. I enjoyed it, right? But I, I don't know. Honestly, guys, right? I did. I thought it was great. I agree with everything you say. Gory. The animation was brilliant. It was. It's a bit of a, and I don't want to poo-poo it at all, but it was as I expected it to be. Now, whether or not that's because Prey was so good, but it was as I expected it to be, which means that I was a bit nonplussed when I finished it. And I'm the only person I know that thinks like that, so maybe it's just me. But I don't know. It was great, and I had a great time with it. But my brain wasn't blown, if that makes sense.
I thought it was like everything that you asked for. Here you go. Here you go, Joy Paul. This is everything you asked for on the pod. It's animated. The animation is fucking quality. The gore is fantastic. The stories and the characters are so awesome. It's like it really sort of laid it home that the Predator kind of is second fiddle to the interesting characters that they are sort of hunting. And I really did think that the sort of little Easter eggs and stuff like that. I suppose maybe it was like the what if attitude, I suppose, of it. But it was everything that we wanted, and I fucking just lapped up. And I'm like Matt, I'm with Matt. I would have. My one complaint is I would add more and
Well, that's
made.
it. I think it would have worked as a TV show and spent a bit more time, spent a
That'd
bit
be
more
pretty
time
cool.
in
Yeah,
the eras.
TV. Yeah,
Because
Maybe
it
it
was
was
a
a
bit wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I didn't really like the focus on the guy with the ship, the Predator using his ship in World War II times. I thought that was a bit like, oh, I could prefer sort of Predators like hand to hand combat rather than like laser guns and stuff. But look, like I said, I'm not poo pooing it. There's a massive plot hole in it though.
these kids
At the
today,
end,
they
why
want it all.
why is some of them kept on ice and some of them aren't kept on ice? So,
getting out when they want
I thought there was a massive missed opportunity at the end as well to have Arnie in there.
to. Well, they had.
You never have to use it again, never have to do anything with it. But it would have been great to see him like next to
No, no,
her,
no,
just frozen, and
no.
maybe Danny Glover as well. That would have been fucking awesome. Because why doesn't
Nobody
Danny Glover?
catches. Nobody catches Arnie, mate. No one catches Arnie
I know, but look,
in
but
his
this is the
contract.
thing. It's like I know, obviously, he's come out, hasn't he, and said that Nero's going to be in the film after Badlands, so he's going to bring her back. But it's kind of like I thought that the reward for killing the predator was that you lived. They basically went, "We respect the shit out of you now. You're going to live. We're going to give you some memento," and that's like proper respect. You're a warrior, brilliant. Not we'll ship you to the thing where the king will kill you essentially. So I was a bit like, okay. It kind of messes a bit with the law. So yeah, no, look, I don't want to poo-poo because it is fantastic, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's so hard to please.
Getting greedy, mate.
I am.
Anyone watch anything else?
I did. I watched a found footage film on Amazon Prime called Raw File. Um, really low budget. Um, basically about an investigative journalist person,
Okay.
bounty hunter type of woman, goes to investigate someone who died in a block of flats, and basically after films her being just taken around this block of flats by this like really daft security guard, and then it kind of gets into like satanic cults and stuff and dimension hopping and stuff. But it's done on a real low budget. There's some decent little bits in it, but it's quite boring to be fair.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I watched, and then it was just Predator as well. So
Swerve that. Matt, you
I've
watched
just
it?
got myself too far deep into the bear now. That's it. That'll take over my life for the next couple of weeks.
Catch up before next week.
Yeah. I talk about Dead Mail on the last episode?
No, but we've talked about that before, haven't we? Dead Mail? If that rings a
Dead Mail is a Fright Fest movie that we didn't watch.
Okay.
Um, I thought I'd catch it because it appeared on Shudder and it got quite a lot of positive reviews coming out of Fright Fest, so I thought I'd check it out. It's a real interesting one. It's really interesting. It's not out and out horror, but I think that you might dig it because it's an interesting concept. Very interesting, very, very, very strange film, but interesting. And I also caught a documentary on Jaws called Jaws: The Inside Story. Have you seen it? It's on
All right.
What's
I've
Amazon.
that
seen
on? Is that
it's
on
on.
Disney Plus now? Is it?
I saw it on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it advertised on Amazon. I haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah, that was really good. It's just a talking heads thing. Probably a lot of it you guys will know, but it was just quite interesting. There's a few bits in there that I didn't know, which was definitely worth a watch.
Lovely job.
That was me. What about you, Butch? Did you get anything done?
All I did was watch The Predator. That's it. So nothing else to report. No dodgy TV shows or anything like that. Okay, cool. Should we get on to some news? Has anyone got anything?
Yeah, so I've got a bit. So speaking of Fright Fest, you remember the film we watched at last Fright Fest called Shelby Oaks?
Yes, I do.
So there's a bit of news around this, and it was a bit interesting that um obviously Neon Studios have picked it up and they've basically threw a ton of money at it. And it was supposed to come out early this year, and it's been put back till October for him to do extensive reshoots. And they've basically said to him, the director, go, we want more gore, we want more violence, we want it to big it up a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of film that comes out. It was weird because that film got a ton of hype when we were at Fry Fest, and then we kind of watched it, and I think we all kind of thought it was a bit. There were good bits to it,
Yeah,
but
there
then
was something there. We said there was a good skeleton or something. Like the found footage was great and something, but there was just it got stranded, I think, with
yeah, but
some
apparently they've like
storyline.
doubled the budget for the reshoots, so for the entire film. So it'll
How's
be
that?
interesting to see if it kind of picks the weak bits of the film up.
Well, mate,
Um,
I'll watch a if why not? You know, you didn't have much money to make it, and it's got the basis of something great. So chuck some money at it and see what we can come out.
yeah,
I
so
know,
that was
like
interesting. It's out in October, so
another one from Saint Clair, Mitzi Peroni's film, is going to be out on digital in the next month, I think. Uh, being shipped by 101 Films. So that's worth looking out for. Stars Bella Thorne. So we like that. We had a little chat, didn't we, Matt, with Mitzi back in November.
Yes, we did.
Really good, well edited interview. Went fucking wrong, but it's out there. So that was cool. I got a little bit as well. I've checked out the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I can honestly say that I just don't give a chuff.
Is the money on Freddie Prinze Jr. being the killer, by the way? I'm just
I
saying.
mean, I don't know. I mean, she's back as well, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I just think they did this TV show, which I tried to watch, and that was kind of crap. But people liked it. So, it's a slasher. It's a slasher with a franchise. So I don't know. We'll see what we get. I'm just like a bit whatever for that. Matt, you got anything?
Yeah, I've got one bit, which is really just hot off the press, which is very interesting. So Jeremy Solner, the guy that made Green Room and Rebel Ridge, is back, and he's back in A24, and he's bringing a film around October. Basically, no word on the role of anybody yet, but the plot details are being kept under wraps. But sources describe the project as a figurative thriller set during Halloween. So Solner will direct from his own script, with A2 for producing and financing. So I really like his films, so I think that could be good.
Yeah, I really did like Green Room. Green Room was quality.
Yeah. So that could be a good one.
Nice and edgy. Matt,
Just before we move on as well, just to mention the two trailers that I saw today, just before the film, together, that looks incredibly mental. And I am very, very excited for Bring Her Back.
yeah, because there's not that trailer is. I don't need to see another trailer. I don't want another trailer. That trailer is just enough to make me go, "Oh, what the fuck am I gonna watch?" Maybe there was a little bit more on Together than I think I've probably seen a little bit too much on that one, I feel. But again, Alison Brie, James Franco, yeah, they're married, right? Husband and wife in real life, is that right? Or they're boyfriend and girlfriend? I don't know. They're together, I think. Pretty sure I got that information right. Paul brings the gossip, Hollywood gossip. Any other news?
No, that's
For
me.
me,
Fucking sweet. Right. Come on in, boys. Let's discuss our main review.
So many dead. Infected and non-infected alike.
That's why our home is so precious.
You know, I feel he's a bit young.
He's ready, Jenny.
7, 6, 11, 5.
Once you walk onto that mainland, there's no rescues.
Moving up and down again. Don't. Look at what's in front of you.
Let's go!
Pound the bullets in the bandoliers.
There are many kinds of death. And some are better than others. This is a glorious day. A day of judgment. My children!
There's no discharge in the war.
Okay, so this week's main review is a film that has probably been 28 years later in the making, but it is the third 28 film. So we have 28 days, we have 28 weeks, and now we have 28 years later. Directed by Danny Boyle, from a script from Alex Garland, and starring Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer and Ralph Fiennes. And yeah, well, look, before we get into it, guys, 28 Days Later, as you guys know, is my favorite horror film and one of my favorite ever films. Little soft spot for 28 Weeks Later. So I was very, very fucking excited for this. And we're probably going to mention it anyway. I was well at home watching this film because it's everybody talks like me. A
They
bit
try.
broader than me, but yeah.
They try.
And so I was like, wow. So yeah, where do we start?
I mean, okay, I gotta say, we watched this fresh today, which is a great opportunity to discuss something. It's still running through my head, trying to digest it and trying to understand what I really, really, really enjoyed this one. I just sat there taking it all in. Probably wasn't what I was expecting, which is a really positive thing. I kind of forgot how it sort of films in that sort of high res, I don't know, sort of motion thing that he does with the way that he does that that camera work, where it's all like almost like shaky cam, but it's sort of high speed, shutter speed or something like that, the way they sort of filmed the first one. And it it, it was fucking, I really enjoyed it. I sat back, enjoyed it. There's a lot to unpack. I don't agree with it being a 15. Let's move on from that. Matt, what do you think?
Um, I don't know. I kind of like, I think because I've come so quickly out of it, don't get me wrong, I did not like this film. But I didn't absolutely love it. But I don't really know what my feelings are. It's really weird. I haven't had enough time to really. I didn't come out going, "Oh my God, that's a masterpiece." It did entertain me, and I was interested in the plot. And it was I think for me, it was very different to the other two films, which isn't a bad thing. I think it stands on its own two legs as being a new movie moving the franchise on, and I respect that. I just don't know if I liked everything in the movie. There's a lot I liked about the movie. There's some bits I want to discuss. Yeah, Geordie Paul, go on. You're gonna love this, obviously. They all talk like you and look like you.
Well, I kind of agree with you, Matt.
Oh,
I,
really?
I I came out the cinema. I'm still kind of it is that thing where I'm still trying to process what I've just seen. But obviously, there's a big point in the film which we'll get onto obviously eventually. Which for me kind of I was like ready, mate. I was ready to come out the cinema and go, yep, bang, done, loved it, thought it was great. And then something happens and I go, the fuck have I just watched?
Hmm.
And it kind of pulled the rest of the film apart a bit. And I was like, what? And to the point where I was just sat there as the end credits come up going, did I like this or did I not now? Um, I mean, the shooting, I mean, I love Danny Boyle anyway, to be fair, but the shooting style I thought was brilliant. It was a bit disorientating, to be honest, Paul, like with some of the cuts and stuff like that, but I thought it was really, really cool. The premise of it was really cool. I kind of like how the kind of zombies have kind of evolved and stuff. No, I did enjoy it. I don't know if I kind of loved 90% of it, and I don't know if I loved the last 10%.
Yeah, we'd have to, yeah, I want to talk about the last 10% in a sec. But like as a story, like because we've discussed the fact, I was like, oh, don't be another fucking like, we've had so much Walking Dead and stuff like that. It's like, how can they disassociate themselves from that? And I'm like, okay, straight away, I'm like, no connection. This is just this is a
Yeah,
great
nothing.
story. This is a great story. Um, it could be a great sequel to the 28 weeks, like, or it could be a great sequel to 28 days. Um, it's such a human story. I love that human element to it. Um, Aaron Taylor Johnson is good. I, I think about the whole concept of the lad Spike going out into the world and sort of becoming a man, and with his sort of a really interesting gung ho dad, but like I thought he was less protective dad, but almost like quite, he's a hunter and he wants him to fucking do well and get his kill and and get his way in the world at 12. And like immediately at the 15 certificate kind of like not wound me up, but I was like, oh fuck's sake, what are they going to do with this? But fucking hell, the introduction of this evolutionary zombie, the alpha. Um, what I don't know if everyone's going to call something a name, fine, but with his big swinging dick, just like
So many, so many dicks in this fucking film.
many dicks. But it was kind of really interesting because I was like trying to think like with the decay, how and I know they kind of loosely explained it with some kind of like evolutionary rage virus sort of way it handles it, and that's why he's sort of become an alpha and control and has kind of a bit more about a bit more reserved and a bit more thought, but just mental and like really hard to kill.
It's Land of the Dead.
He landed it dead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's been 28 years, and like I love the idea of the causeway. I thought that was fantastic. What a fucking great
I need to
way!
get hard on about that.
What a great way to survive the apocalypse. You know, that's fucking genius level.
Apart from when the
Well, that's somewhere you
tide's
need to
out.
visit, Paul. Now you need to
Huh?
go Holy Island. You need to go Holy Island. That's what it's
It's
called.
fucking great.
It obviously is a real place. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was a great little device just to separate them from the mainland, which you can kind of. They've obviously been able to build a community, and how if they were constantly under attack every day, you kind of wouldn't really believe it. But yeah, that sort of thing where even though they are isolated from the mainland, they've got all these like harpoon weapons and stuff ready to go, just in case one strides up the thing.
That
Um,
scene with the zombie chasing him like fucking along the causeway, I thought was incredible.
That was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
really shot really well.
I think every chase scene in the film, I think, and that's built up from the way the zombies kind of go. Obviously, we're kind of used to the shuffling zombies. We've seen Dawn of the Dead kind of remake, the fast zombies. But that was the thing about 28 Days Later. It was kind of once they picked up your scent or trail, you better fucking run. There's no standing around fighting. There's no like chopping heads off and uh, Rick Grimes shooting the heads off and stuff. It's run because they're just about to tear you apart. So I think immediately bought back into that. Any of the chase scenes, any of the little house scenes, all the confined space bits. It's like shit. Like, I thought it was a really good way that they were getting chased in the house, and he kind of lifts them in the loft, and then they kind of fall down again. And I was like, oh shit.
I
Yeah, I
like
think
the hundreds of fucking deer and stuff running as well. I thought it was sort of a really interesting touch, almost like I know, I am legend sort of esque, sort of giving back to the earth and all that sort of stuff. Even though they would get eaten, and they're running. If they're running for a reason.
but
Um,
it kind of did take a while though, because obviously there was a lot of like dreamscape sequences. There was a lot of like hallucinatory stuff and like cuts of like the random like jumping into is it Henry V
It
and
was
like all the
something like
war
that,
stuff
wasn't
and
it?
all that.
It was interesting. It was like there's obviously this kind of running underline of it's gone back to those ages where literally everything is about kind of everybody's got a place in society where they've got to do something. Foragers and protectors and watchtowers and stuff, and it's almost gone back. It's almost like it is a castle and they're protecting it.
yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of shots of footage of what I can tell is it Norman? I don't know what
No,
times it.
whenever they had bows and arrows to fucking
Yeah, but
shoot stuff.
what they called the with the
Yeah, the
mask.
Normans.
Is it the Normans? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm rubbish with that sort of side of things, I'm afraid.
But this is bracketed with this opening sequence of just like watching the Teletubbies whilst something is. I'm guessing it's the start of something that, this you could kind of imagine there's some news on and there's stuff going on outside, and and then it sort of gets to there, and there's like a group of children, and like that bit is fucking really, really hits the feels, and you get an escape, one of the lads that escape. Did you, right? So the lad who escaped at the beginning with the cross, did you think that was Aaron Taylor Johnson?
No,
I
I
I think
did
did.
it's
actually.
Scottish.
I didn't. Yeah, well, I didn't because of the accent, but I did. It did run through my head. It was like, oh, are we getting a backstory of him? But then I
Mm,
thought, no, I don't.
didn't
It
fit.
doesn't sit right with the age and stuff. I
Okay.
don't think really. Yeah,
And obviously you didn't get your church scene. It was a different church scene.
yeah. I thought that was
But it
going to
was a
tell
nod,
the.
though. It was definitely a nod.
Yeah, well, yeah. I really thought from the trailer that they were going to tell the origin story of the church that he comes across in the first one. I thought that
Yeah.
that was the beginning of it, and I'm glad they didn't. I'm kind of glad they didn't. I'm kind of glad they kind of isolated it to a different story. Um,
It
yeah.
was it was really interesting with Jodie Cameron's character as well. Like she's got an illness. There's a reason for Spike's sort of journey, I suppose, to sort of like, to a reason to sort of leave again, I suppose, in a 12-year-old's head, help his mother. He sort of learnt about a doctor, Ralph Fiennes and stuff like that character, and it's like I'm going to get him. He's been out once. Now he's going to be brave and take his mum on a longer journey, even though he's like nearly fucking died on the first one.
With that, I was really concerned for a while that
Spoilers,
Jodie
by the
Comer.
way, big massive spoilers.
I was really worried at one point that they were going to massively underuse Jodie Comer. At one point, I thought, is this it? Is she just going to be in these scenes? Because I was thinking, there's no way that they would put her in this movie and just have her in those scenes. But I thought it was very clever, a very clever choice to kind of have Aaron Taylor-Joy in the first kind of part, and
Hmm.
then have her in the second part. It was just like I thought that was really good with the character building and everything like that.
Whereas
I
in the
thought
trait,
the little kid was awesome. I thought.
yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Like the trailer suggested something different, which is really good to see.
Mhm.
I thought it was an adventure story with like, those two going off and
Yeah,
finding Jodie along the way. That's what,
hoodwinked.
yeah, yeah, that's what it felt like. So the fact that it was all part of that community, the family, and it were Taylor Two Halves was quite interesting. And what an adventure they had. Fuck the lads from Sweden.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Again,
Wowzers.
though, the way the film was shot, though, it kind of disorientated you because you were like, you didn't know if that was a flashback to the past
Hmm.
or it was going on now or who
Yeah,
are these guys?
because it's just
Or it was like, and then all kind of like slotted back in. Um,
the editing was very fucking interesting, and
On on that, obviously, that we haven't really touched on, is that now Great Britain is a quarantined island, and it's basically patrolled by like the French and other people.
NATO, I
Um,
think it was alluded to.
yeah, so like they patrol, so none of us can get out. So
Well, yeah,
we're
well,
all
who's ever left? Because they
yeah,
managed. They
well,
said so, and that's an interesting thing because, like, you think about these sort of apocalyptic movies. How is the rest of the world coping? Actually, they've just isolated an island, and the rest of the world is getting on. They've got fucking. They're like, there's phones, there's normality, everywhere else apart from this sort of cut off society, and that's fuck. I thought that was really, really clever. Actually, come to think of it, I really did. I'm really liking this even more talking about it. Um,
so yeah, so we have loads. One of the things this kind of introduces is some like new type of mutations of the virus, I suppose, where obviously you have your slow ones. I can't remember
big
sloth
fat
ones,
fucks, big fat slugs.
big fat fucks, um, mommy, daddy, and children variants. And they're obviously like obese and they're crawling around the floor and all sorts, sucking up worms and stuff, which was gross, but some
But
I
great.
love that bit.
yeah, he cut his teeth. So he cuts his teeth on the fat ones, right? And when there's fat, there's more. When it all kicked off, like in that little bit in the woods, right? He took out one in the neck, fucking brayed like a bastard. And then there was one fatty behind. His dad took that out. Then there's like they started coming out of nowhere, and
There's
Aaron,
two kids.
but he let one of the kids go, right?
Yeah, because he kind of said dad, didn't he? He was a bit like, no, stop now. You don't have to kill that one.
He,
I think it was
fucking,
because it was a kid.
he ran away though. He didn't run to him, which was a bit interesting.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hmm, don't know.
But yeah, so you have them, and then you've got the kind of the drones, as it were, which are kind of the rage ones, which are like declothed now, because obviously it's 28 years later, so why would they have clothes on? And then you have the the big alphas, the steroid ones. That's obviously they do like do a little bit of exposition, don't they? Say it's like steroids, so the virus kind of jacks some of the people up, and then they become the alphas, as it were. So they're sort of kind of controlling like mini herds from the look of it.
Yeah,
Um, and these guys are obviously big bastards with, as you have alluded to, big swinging cocks. But was it the same actor for the two alphas?
it wasn't, but it felt like it. Because one that when we talk about the doc in a minute, Ralph Fiennes, he calls one Samson, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and they're fucking hard to kill. They're a next level boss in the game. But no, I because they definitely got one going across the causeway, right? So that
yeah.
one that was thundering across the causeway, just the way it was running was so intense. It was such a cool scene. I really enjoyed that one.
That actually had me on the edge of my seat. I was like, really like, oh my God, keep running, keep really had this, it really built up the suspense, really, and that really made me feel uneasy.
I
Um,
100% thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was gone. I
oh yeah,
genuinely did, because
100%.
obviously, from even the press and stuff, I've seen like stills with like Jodie Comer, the kid, and Ralph Fiennes. I was like, well, he's not there. So I was thinking, is this what sets them off on the path to go? We're not safe here, or I need to find something. Um, yeah. But I love that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant writing and brilliant directing. It's the fact that you put these characters in peril. You genuinely have to put them in peril. We see so many films where you're like, I don't think you're going to die here at all. There's no way you're going to die here. It's just set piece to set piece to set piece. But actually, you can do that, but actually put them in real danger.
Same
So
with
as the viewer, you think shit, and it just becomes really tense and scary.
yeah, Robert Carlyle running away from that fucking house and his family
I
and
mean,
stuff like
that's
that. Yeah,
for me, honestly, and people laugh at us when I say this. For me, in my entire film viewing life, 28 weeks later has one of the best opening scenes of a film ever.
yeah,
It's
that,
incredible.
yeah.
And there's notes of it here. There's notes of it where they're running away, especially like at the start where your man's running away from the little kids running away out of the church, and they're like kind of running sideways to him. It's yeah, I love that.
That
It's so
that bit
tense.
that bit in the train when we're sort of introduced to the other alpha is fucking nuts, right? I mean, this isn't something we've seen before. A pregnant, I mean, it's a rage virus, but it's a pregnant zombie, as we're calling it, that gives birth to a non-infected baby. That scene was bonkers. It sort of blew my mind a little bit. The music, the score in this fucking thing was incredible. That's one. It was spot on. Really set the mood with every sort of scene. But yeah, then they've got introduced to a little baby. What do you think about that? Did that make any sense in your head?
Well, it kind of did when you Ralph Fiennes kind of says about the placenta, how the placenta's obviously took all the badness out of it and allowed the baby to grow. For me, that was a bit of a misstep. If I'm honest, it's like
I don't like it when they put a baby in the mix because it's a bag of dicks, and especially in a zombie situation, because it's like a fucking crier. All right. And where's the milk? Just chuck it in a bin.
oh, Jesus, there's your 18
And
certificate. But yeah,
are we right in thinking that Alpha was the dad?
Well,
well,
I
it
guess
hinted
so.
it, and he was running after them, and it was like I thought, is he running after them for the baby, or does he just want them dead? Like,
I
um,
didn't I didn't feel either way on it. Like it didn't really express that. Like
I
remember in
think
I Am
dad.
Legend and stuff like that, you could obviously tell that it was fucking impassioned and in what was going on with his sort of partner at the end. But with this one, I was like, I don't know if he just wants to kill him. Or just like, what's he gonna do with the baby? What's he gonna do with a baby that's not? I don't know.
I mean, we have to remember at this point, this is part of a planned trilogy, right?
Sure.
So that is probably the question that may get answered in the future.
That's that bit with the fucking the way he takes her head off with the spine, and you're calling this a 15. I don't understand. The that there's a they've changed the certification completely.
Yeah, it's a hard 15, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. What you've watched the others more than me. Is the other two 18s or 15s? How much dick
The
does it
first
take?
one's an 18.
How much dick does
I
it
think
take?
I think the second one's a 15.
How much dick does it take to make it an 18?
I think you can show dick as long as it's just not penetrating anything. I think
It was
that's when you get the
28 days later was 18 and 28. Oh, yeah, done about 28 weeks later.
All right.
I think that was a 15, Matt.
Even with the eye gouge.
No, no, 18.
Oh,
18.
18.
See, do you know what I mean?
18.
They changed
I
certification.
think they're getting softer in their old age, mate. Telling you.
A spine rip doesn't make any sense anymore, and a big swinging fucking dick
Getting
doesn't
dicks,
make
yeah.
and a
Not
preg.
It's
nudity.
It's an
Is it
odd one.
spine rips from dead people though, not spine rips from alive people? That might be why.
Yeah, but it's also down to like obviously blood and blood squirts and all that, and there's quite a few in this.
Yeah.
Then there wasn't. There was
There's some
there was
teenagers in the
one
cinema stuff.
harsh swear word as well, which was the C
Well,
C bomb.
there was one
Said
cunt.
multiple times as well.
There was a cunt.
And swear words always sound better coming from Geordies. I'm just saying that. Hard vowel sounds, it's great. Now, just to get the Geordie into it, questionable geography.
Okay.
The
I mean,
angel of the north.
it looked gorgeous.
The Angel of the North, which I fucking love. So I've always loved it ever since it's been there. I just think it's really, really impressive. And you should go and see it sometime because it's a great
I've seen it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was looking a bit rusty now, though, isn't it? In
Well,
2018.
you know. But from Lindisfarne, which is Holy Island, right, to walk to the Angel of the North, and I've checked this, so it would take 1 day and 11 hours. I know
I
you
felt
can
that.
time jump in films, but I don't know if you
How
remember.
did you know they didn't do that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt
it
that.
took a long time.
They had a sleepover where she killed one of the fatties.
Yeah, and then they walk straight back to where the Bone Temple was. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't know, questionable geography, but hey,
Artistic license.
yeah, I'm getting a bit.
A
What do you
lot
think
of
about
great-
what do we think about
great insight.
this bone temple thing?
Just
I don't.
before going to the Bone Temple, there was a shot of the Sycamore Gap. Did you with the tree? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Well, obviously you saw it, but did you notice it?
Yes.
Well,
Is that what
now
that
there's a big
is?
tree there.
Yeah. That's not there anymore.
So that tree
Is that the
isn't
one
there
that got
anymore because
taken
some
away?
twats cut it down. What?
That's the one that got chopped away. They got them though, didn't they? They found them.
Yeah.
Put them in
They're
jail.
in jail now. They got jail time for it. But yeah, that's so. I was just when it popped up, I thought, oh Christ, they got it. I don't know
Because
if the
I
sequel.
thought when I saw that I thought it was more in a big field with just a small wall, but in the film it was like between two massive
Hills, mounds,
like hills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. There was bits of like Hadrian's Wall and stuff as well, because like Hadrian's Wall was an old Roman wall that runs basically
the length.
half the length of the
Mm.
country, really. So, like to keep the Scots out. But yeah,
Or
so
the
no,
English
there was a lot of little nods there for the North. It was great.
Yeah, it was, and like again, like if you remember the first one set in London and coming up and all that stuff, the on the M5, M6 and stuff like that, I thought the setting of this was beautiful, perfect, like really just stunning country. Really, really was. But we do get to this, this really interesting guy who's just fucking spending his days taking apart the zombies bone by bone, washing the bones and washing the skulls. Not weird, right? And he doesn't, but the thing is, he doesn't come across as like the one thing I liked about it. He doesn't come across like a caricature. He doesn't come across like a villain. It doesn't come across any of that. It's just, it felt so peaceful. There's no cult leader about it. It was just his thing that he had to do. But I'm not sure the reaction. This is where the tonal thing, like, it felt so interesting, peaceful, and subdued. The way that sort of We find out about Jodie Cromer's character, the mum with the cancer. We sort of all knew that that or dementia was coming on. But the fact that he sort of gave her, I guess, like let her go and like then washed her head and skull and gave it to him to place on top of the bone temple. What did you think about that? That seems to me a bit too much for a 12-year-old to deal with. No?
Yeah, I mean, he was high on morphine at the time, though, remember? So
Yeah, that's true.
it,
It's a weird
it
one though.
fucking jacked him up with morphine, so it was to lessen the kind of blow, I think. But again, you talk, look, I think that's where you've already kind of touched it, I think, as well, because the first bit of the film is hardening him up with his dad. You know, the harsh realities of life is that you need to be hard as nails out here, otherwise you're going to get beaten down. And then the second bit's about caring for his mum, and I think it kind of all meshes in. And he's kind of bought into because he's expecting some absolute nutcase when he meets him, like drenched in what you think is blood, but it's not, it's iodine. And you think, oh my god, this guy's going to be fucking loopy. But he's actually not. He's just a nice guy.
I
But he's
love
got a crazy mission in life.
I love that clip when they're talking about when they saw him a while ago and they all turn up on the hill and he's like waving at them. He's like, come on down,
Come on
like that.
down.
Like really nice and stuff. He just wants to make him a cup of tea and show him, you know, his dead bodies. And they just scarper and run off. I love that. I love that little backstory.
He's been
But
go
the
on.
one thing I didn't really like, and this is just one of my personal things, the Bone Temple, like I love the skull thing, that looked cool, but everything else seemed a bit too kind of setty to me. It's just like this is one guy, and he's now an architect and a doctor. I mean, it would have.
Yeah.
I know he's supposed to be doing it for years, whatever. So yeah, I get it, but it's just a little bit too over the line, far-fetched for me. I could
The
have
way he
done.
sort of tied up those poles and stuff like that, the bones and
Yeah, I
like
just thought the bones and the pole, yeah, and it's just all. If you look at it, it's all bones. It's all arms and
mm.
femurs, and which is cool, but I just thought it was a little bit too polished.
It was cool looking, but for the tone of the film, it was a bit, I would say, far. Okay, it's in a world where there's zombies, a
Far-fetched,
bit
yeah.
far fetched. I guess. So there's my line. However, my line might be pushed again in a bit. I mean, you know, we he carries he carries the baby back to in a nice little montage back to the fucking
In a shopping basket.
in
I
the
like
shopping
that.
basket. I thought that was a nice little touch, but that would have taken a bit, and he hadn't had no the baby things. Yeah, whatever. Bye bye. But he sets off on his own little journey, which I thought was quite
What have you
cute.
got against babies?
I ain't got what I got against. I don't know what I got against because I laughed out loud at this next bit. We get a complete and utter tonal shift. I mean, I didn't know Jack O'Connell was in this movie, so that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I mean, after Sinners, yeah.
He's had a good year. This is
See,
well, this is the thing.
I
I
just
didn't. I,
don't know about this bit. I just, it was awesome, but it was a completely different tone. And I don't know if it's just because it was so batshit crazy. It can't, I don't know if it took me away from everything that just happened. Because it felt like I was watching a scene from like Shaun of the Dead.
or like felt like something to me, like almost like Mad Max Turbo Kid sort of fucking. It's almost what I wouldn't. This is the thing. I don't associate this. It's hard because, like an Indonesian horror movie, where it's got some kind of, they always have this crazy moment, right? Little ninja kids or whatever, just like doing weird backflips. I expect that, but I don't know. It's like it didn't expect it from a Danny Boyle movie, I guess.
Well,
With the bad wigs and the bad like sort of like bling.
so obviously he goes away, so he's off on his own thing. He's like finding himself, and he's like left the baby back home. His dad's like screaming for him and stuff, and it's like right, I've gone, and he's obviously making his way up to Scotland, um, which isn't that far away from Holy Island, but he's kind of making his way up, and then he's kind of eating a fish, and then getting chased by loads of fucking zombies, and then like you said, Jack O'Connell rocks up,
In a bad
and
tracksuit.
well, they're all just as Jimmy Savile. Why?
They're all wearing like
He's called
Adidas tracksuits.
Jimmy.
And
They're
they've all
all
got like
called Jimmy.
And they've all got white hair as well, haven't they?
They're all Jimmy fucking Savile.
They're
I'm telling
wearing
you now,
they're
guys.
wearing wigs. They're
With
wearing
the
wigs.
chains and the and the
Wearing
and
wigs.
the and
They,
the
yeah,
rings as well.
the
Yeah.
blings, the chains. So it's like this is what I'm trying to wrap my head around, right? So obviously he meets Jack O'Connell. Jack O'Connell's like, "Oh look, you've got more chase in you," and you think, "Well, he looks like a wrong one anyway." See, what I thought was that this was going to lead up to was Cillian Murphy right at the end.
Like
This is what I was like, "Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go."
everyone was, the whole world was, weren't they?
And then it's like, I tell you what, you're expecting Cillian Murphy, but what we'll do is we'll introduce a band of Jimmy Savile ninjas to kick the shit out of everybody, and then we'll finish the film.
But in a
What?
really crazy, kooky way.
Like,
Because it's not dark and like crazy. It's like proper like
Slapstick.
comedy, slapsticky, ninja kind of.
yeah, they're like playing with them, they're toying with the zombies, they're like tapping them on the head and all
So
sorts.
weird. It's
And
so
then
weird.
you've got this like, you see, we probably should have said earlier in the film that they meet like a hung up zombie, don't they? It's got Jimmy wrote on the his belly.
Oh
Yeah.
So
yeah.
obviously they've done that, and then I don't know. You probably again, who knows? And then there was a
Jimmy.
sign on the wall which said it was like a Bible verse, but then they said "Hail Jimmy" or something like that on the side of it. Now, bearing in mind, Cillian Murphy's character is Jim in 28 Days Later, so it was kind of I was thinking, oh, is this gonna be something weird? Um, but yeah, it doesn't make any like it's literally like what just happened, and then it finishes, and all their character names. So this is the thing. I sat and watched the trip as the credits were going up. I was like, I'm just going to sit here and think about this one for a minute. And I noticed the actual character names. They're all called Jimmy, but they're all got Jimmy different names. One of the characters is called Jimmy Shite.
Amazing. I mean, I'm interested in it, right? This is the thing. So what we got is this great. I think there was a fantastic movie, and then up to that point, I'm like, okay, I'm interested to watch the next thing in the franchise. So I think this is batshit. What? Where are they going with it? We know we get weird gangs. It felt this is what I didn't want from it. There wasn't a lot of it, but I didn't need it.
But he's the guy at the start. So he's the kid at the
Yeah.
start
Yeah,
They show
yeah.
the
with his
crucifix.
crucifix. So whatever
But
happened to him in the 28 years?
but the weirdest thing is I'm fine with it because even if like they did the next film absolutely crazy and kooky, I'd probably be fine with it and love it.
Yeah.
However, it just that it was just a massive tone shift. That's a massive, like it's too big from when you think about all the characters in this and the subjects they're dealing with and everything.
Mm.
And then you get to this, and I noticed they've obviously released the name of the next film as well, right?
Have they?
But the
Okay.
Bone Temple.
Yeah, the Bone Temple it's called.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird because I mean, you think I was saying to Butch when we walked out, I said like, you've got the first one which is London, second one, is, like it's still kind of London kind of based. Then you've got obviously this one which is based in the northeast, and then you've got, and now it's like it's going to Scotland. It's like they're just doing all the kind of areas of the
Well,
island.
in the end of 28 Days Later, they're in Scotland, the first one.
Oh yeah,
That's
of
where they
course,
end
that's
up.
where they go.
You,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's shot in the Lake District.
All right,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, yeah.
Which is
So it's
next to
interesting.
Scotland, Paul. Just saying.
I wonder if the last one I go over to Ireland.
It's gonna
Bring
be,
them over.
it's gonna be mad. I don't know. Like, I'm either
The
gonna.
clever thing is, you want to watch. I want to watch the sequel now. I
Well, you
want to
ain't got
watch.
long to wait. It's next year, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't want to wait. Now, Nia DaCosta's directed it, and I fucking love that Candyman. So I'm kind of I'm invested, but it just completely like went. Hang on, what just happened? And you kind of straggling. My thoughts just went "Whoa," from the film.
It was just the way you looked as well. It was so like, I don't know, like fancy dressy, and like it looked like they just
Jimmy
put a wig
Savile on
on
a
him.
stag do.
Or
Yeah,
like, the Warriors. and stuff like that. We're suddenly going into a fucking like warrior. We're going, it's just fucking hell. We're gonna meet. Are we literally gonna meet these weird, wacky gangs and stuff? I don't know. Like it's not. Like, is he like 28 years later's answer to fucking Negan?
But what a choice though, right?
Well,
Because
yeah,
if you think about this, lads, on the timeline, when was the Jimmy Savile scandal?
Maybe it
yeah.
never happened.
After 28
Yeah.
days later. So these guys could be worshipping Jimmy Savile as some sort of
I
like.
know,
It's
but
such a
he was
weird
watching.
choice.
He was watching
Maybe
Teletubbies.
that they've only got like Jim will fix it on VHS that they're watching.
And he hands medals out to people and he fixes
Yeah.
problems. I don't know, but
No.
it's fucking. I don't know. I think Danny Boyle and they've just went, you know what, this will be fucking hilarious. This will probably put the
Yeah,
cat most of
that's
it because everyone's
really,
expecting
really
Killian Murphy to rock up. And guess what we're going to do?
it's just gonna
Fucking A.
fucking really turn their noggins. And that it was just so weird. I really do think I really like the movie. I do. And I'm glad it's so different to the other two. And I'm glad it didn't get the zombie effects and have loads of stuff from other zombie movies or Walking Dead because like I said before, a lot's been done.
Hmm.
So this was different. It did stand alone. It was a good storyline. The acting and the characters were fantastic. The writing was great. The shots were brilliant. I mean, you guys know it's all shot on the iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't. I didn't know
the
that.
whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing.
That's fucking
There's
mad.
one shot of I think it may have been the Alpha or whatever one of zombies, and I'm not kidding. There's this ring around him that is on his shoulders, and there's about 45 iPhones just around him in a circle. So they obviously got every single angle when he's like running and his facial is it's mad. You should Google it because it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the start of it, I felt, it was a bit out of joint. Like it was really jittery. But then when you get used to it, it kind of calms down. But yeah, it's interesting. And back to that bit as well. That was beautiful. The running scene over the causeway was brilliant. Like the way the white from the water was splashing like from way above. I'd love to know how that was done, how it looked on real film. So, but yeah, it was. I think I really enjoyed it. I did. It's really a lot to take in, especially with that ending.
Yeah. Whew. 28 years later. There we go. Conversational. What a fuck. It was fucking, yeah. It went a few places. So there we go. Okay. Put a number on this. Is it a tale of two halves? Or, I mean,
I mean, I'll go first. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which I'm a bit disappointed at, if I'm honest, because I was hoping I'd just be like 10 out of 10 done. But
I think I would give
was
it
it a
an
9?
eight.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I'd go eight. Yeah,
8 out of 10.
definitely.
I go 8, but I think I'm gonna give it more later. I think I'm gonna watch it again and then be like,
I mean, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to definitely buy it and order it and pour over it a bit because I definitely think it's worth repeat viewing. But I just, my instant reaction, like I said, that the last 5 minutes just completely derailed the film for us.
hmm.
Um,
We'll see. We'll see in a year.
yeah.
Certainly going to be one to live for, to fucking watch where they're going with it. Fucking hell, more Jack O'Connell. Why not? Love Jack O'Connell. So
He's great.
he's willing to put himself into some weird situations. Okay, so where Sinner was a 10, this is an 8. Had potential. Think I would have given it a 9 if that last little bit didn't come out though. I really do. It was fucking. There was a lot to good in this thing. Enjoy, go and enjoy. We just bought the shit out of it. I hope you guys have listened and find some incredible things. But I'd love to know what everyone thinks about this last bit. I've read a couple of reviews. None of them have mentioned that last 5 minutes, so that's going to be quite interesting to read. Okay, there we go. That was 28 years later. Moving on to the next. Next episode is another sequel, but it came probably a bit quicker. Megan 2.0. Don't know if it came too quick, but it made a lot of fucking money. We're going to see a flying Megan or some shit. Why not? Right, let's move on to our movie from the vault.
Stephen King, your favorite novelist and master of modern horror, has written his first motion picture screenplay. It combines all the elements of his creative imagination. Lovable pets, classic cars, quiet evenings, favorite films.
Kill the son of a...
Good idea.
Adorable kids.
Help me! It's after me!
And of course, a monster or two. Experience a series of electrifying adventures as seen through Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Where's your sense of humor?
Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Okay, so this episode's movement through the vault was picked by me, and we're going to be diving into Cat's Eye. A little plot synopsis first. A stray cat guides us through each tale in this Stephen King-based anthology horror film. Geordie Paul, we're going to go to you first because your face tells all the story.
Well, look, as a massive Stephen King fan,
This is your first watch as well.
Yeah, I've never seen this before.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm, a big Stephen King fan. Read most of his books. The guy kind of write screenplays. I'm just saying. I don't know, Matt. This was a bit, yeah. It got good. The end saved it. I'm just saying, the end saved it, but not in a horror kind of way. It was more of a comedy. But yeah, I found this a bit of a struggle. That's been kind. Butch?
I didn't find it a struggle. I didn't say it was. I don't know if it's any good. I sort of think it was more of a. I don't know. Sort of
I felt
kiddie.
like I was watching Tales from the Crypt or
Tales from the Crypt,
Creepshow or something.
Goosebumps or something like that. It felt like a bit light on the horror side of things, which happens sometimes. But I kind of I didn't get bored. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I did actually like it. I think because yeah, it wasn't awful. I've seen worse Stephen King movies, definitely. I mean, fucking Salem's Lot comes to mind, but I don't know. And they never come back. Is another gun. I kind of liked it. I liked the anthologiness of it, and I liked the cat. I liked the.
You liked the cat.
I thought the cat was all right. I thought that I liked the fact that the cat was the one that was telling the stories and where it went, and it was sort of got into this sort of this weird situation.
On the road again. Look at myself back on the road again.
Fucking weird, but I kind of like that. I like the fact the cat was the central point for the stories, and it worked. It meshed together well. The fucking stories themselves, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Matt.
Well, I rented this when I was a young'un from the video shop. I think my dad let me rent it. And I just remember being freaked out by the last segment a little bit. But the first two segments, I just got memories in my mind of it. And how kind of it is a bit like I can't remember the TV show that was called. It used to be on TV, and it's like British, and it was Twisted Tales, and it's like
Tales of the Unexpected.
Yes, very much like Tales of the Unexpected / Twilight Zoney kind of freak showy things, right? And yeah, I just remember watching it and being like quite captivated, because when you think I was probably really too young to watch it, I was probably about 8 or something when I watched it, 9, something like that. Because it's not out and out a real scary thing. It's not out and out horror. Um, I mean, yeah. Let's start. Like, first, so the first segment. Should we chat about the first segment? Which I think that I think one thing in what I will say out of this whole thing, the actors are fucking brilliant.
James
I'm
Woods
sorry,
is
Oh
great.
yeah,
but the
great
acting is
cast.
brilliant. Okay, the writing might not be great and the content, but the acting is superb. So the first segment, Quitters Inc. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, obviously it follows a man that wants to quit smoking. His friend kind of recommends a place to go, and it's more like like a mob firm rather than an actual place that's going to help you.
it's
Yeah.
pretty fucking extreme, isn't it?
Extreme quitters, like fucking. If you want to quit smoking, this is a version. What they call it, aversion therapy. We're gonna watch you. If you smoke at any point, we're gonna fuck your wife up. As
Well, it's quite extreme, wasn't it? It was either we're going to electrify her, rape her, or kill her,
Well, after
basically.
like he's because you obviously James Woods is like being James Woods in this, and he's just like chuckling along like, "Go, like what he's gonna do if I slip?" And he's like, "Well, we'll rape your wife," and he's like, "The fuck."
we kidnap your daughter and we'll chuck her in there. Sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't risk a cigarette after that. He's a sneaky one. He thought it was kind of supernaturalist, but it's not. It's just people watching him.
Butch, being an ex-smoker,
Yeah.
the party scene, did that make you want to have a cigarette?
No, definitely not.
No, don't take it back.
Not
Once you
even.
quit, that's it, innit?
I occasionally want a cigarette if I'm drinking, but not a lot. The whole idea of smoking and smelling your
I
clothes.
love that party scene though, where like that bloke's being a complete douchebag, and everybody's just smoking out their ears and shit.
Yeah, literally, it's like a funnel out of his fucking mouth.
Yeah, it's
And
such
that
a.
bloke comes down, the bloke who owns the Quitters Inc. comes down the stairs like disco dancing.
He's like in an Elvis suit.
Yeah,
It is a
so
great scene.
and the painting with the eyes.
Yeah,
I
and
like the one in the car when he finds it in the glove compartment, and he's like, "Oh, I'll have a quick smoke," and there's the couple smooching next to him, the kids playing. He's like, "Oh, no one will see his ear," and then he like pops up, and it's just a couple that smooching just staring at him. That was quite funny.
Yeah,
it was
And
just
obviously, the electrocution of his wife is very funny. I mean, when
yeah.
her hair just starts going up with the static,
yeah.
it's,
It
So
is.
you liked it. You liked it.
It was more comedy than it was quite funny, but obviously at the base of it, there's it's a dark story. If you want to go like, take it away from, take it out of context and sort of, you could go really dark of it. I kind of like that. There is some elements where you could extend it and really just fucking like, yeah, we're gonna, you you smoke and we'd kneecap you and stuff like that. I think there's some real, I kind of like the idea.
but then does the like at the end he's kind of getting on with the program now, and then
Yeah, he
they
loves
give
it.
him
He
like diet pills. That
laughs.
he's like, don't take some of these are illegal, so don't take them all. It's like all right, but then he says, "Oh, what happens if I smoke again?" He's like, "Oh, I'll cut your wife's fingers off or something."
Yeah, I'll cut your
Or
wife's
is it what
pinky.
happens if I take them? And he goes, "Oh, I'll cut your wife's fingers off."
A
And
pinky off.
obviously, yeah, and then they're at dinner, and he kind of notices that her fingers off. So he's obviously taking the wrong pills.
It's not his wife though, it's someone else's wife, isn't it?
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah,
it's
yeah.
And
obviously
then he
happening to other.
realizes he's like, oh shit.
Was that his friend? Was that
Yeah,
his friend who recommended it? So yeah,
yeah,
fucking hell. It's just yeah, it's quite funny. I kind of liked it. Um,
yeah.
the second story was what?
Casino meets airplane.
Like yeah, it was. I called it the bet, but what was it actually called? The ledge or something like that?
What? Not the guy from Airplane, but what's the other guy? The mobster's guy.
I,
He's been in so many things.
I
He's like in
know.
Scrooged. He's like so well known. I got to you talking about.
John McNaughton or something like that. I can't remember his name. But yeah, this one's like, you know, let's take bets on the fact whether the cat's gonna cross the road and not get squished. I thought that was quite a good little start. But you know, the bloke needs money. I can't remember his name, but the one from Airplane needs money, so he's going up to make a bet, and the bet is that he can go around the whole building on the ledge, and if he does, he gets a load of money, right? Can't remember exactly
Right.
how much it was.
No,
100.
he gets to basically, so they put drugs, he's an ex-tennis player, isn't he? And they put drugs in his car and he's having a way with his wife. So he's like, look, if you make it around the whole of the hotel, you can have my wife, or take the drugs out of your car and I'll give you a load of money. Which, when you think about it, is quite harrowing when he gets on. And the biggest thing that stuck in my mind when he goes around was the pigeon.
Fucking
Because I
pigeon.
Yeah,
thought, I was just
that's
thinking, that would so hurt. And then his foot starts bleeding through the sock. And I laughed my ass off when he gets in that little bit and he's got enough room to get back and fucking hoof the pigeon. It's so funny because it goes, Rah!
but
I
then he gets
love that
fucking
bit.
hosed.
Yeah,
Yeah. He tries to stitch him up all the way around. Tries to like he literally there's a bugle at one stage when they were horn.
he's loving it. And he's like, it's like a game to him. His name was Kenneth McMillan,
Did
Crest.
at the end of this one, is it because it's incredibly acted on the ledge? I kind of it really did felt the peril and stuff. I love the fact that he survived. I thought that was really good and all sort of egged on by the cat. But did the chap have his wife's head in the back?
Yeah,
Was- That was his wife's head.
that was the mob boss's wife's head. Yeah,
So he's decapitated his wife. Um, anyway, and then he
yeah.
goes around and kills, takes his revenge
He
and
was
stuff.
gonna kill him anyway, wasn't he? He was gonna like,
Yeah, he was just
yeah.
finding a way to kill him in a horrible way, but he fucking,
The tables were turned.
they were indeed. Again, it's just like a bit silly. It was a bit silly, really. Um, Not scary, I think, but it was interesting. I was fucking laughing the whole way around. So, it's like as a movie and stuff, that was all right.
I think when I watched it first, I remember thinking like, I don't know what's going to happen here. You just don't know what's going to happen. So you two have not seen it before, where I knew what was going to happen. I forgot about the wife's head, to be honest. So, but I remember everything else.
And Drew Barrymore keeps popping up every which way but loose. She was like what? She was like a mannequin at the start, wasn't she? In the
Yeah,
shop, what was that all about? Also, we haven't talked about the fact the start we get
Cujo,
Cujo and
Christine.
Christine at the start, and I was like, then I was like, oh, what else is there? And I'm sure there were other
there
bits.
was the last segment. The mum's in bed reading Pet Cemetery.
Okay, yeah, this third part then to talk about this, the one that reminded me of The Gate, but without Stephen Dork. Talked about The Gate quite a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, you got yeah, Butch hates the gate. We obviously we have Drew Barrymore and the little family, and the cat rocks up, hitchhikes a ride. I did think we were going to continue the trucks from Pet Sematary were going to roll down that road. I thought that was going to happen, but I was a bit disappointed it didn't.
Watch out
But
for those trucks!
yeah, so the cat rocks up to the house, and then the family are being watched by, like I said, sound effects passed down from the puppet master.
Little
And
fucking
then what
gob
is it? A gremlin? A
troll.
troll?
I think it's a troll.
Yeah, it's a little troll.
Little troll that comes out from the skirting board.
And is trying to steal a child's breath. Is that basically what?
Yeah, that's an old
Listen to the dad's tale.
that's an old fairy tale, isn't it? Um, creepy little troll guy, the sort of 80s version of their sort of CGI puppetry. I don't know what the fuck that was a puppet, but it's
Yeah,
like
it was
No,
definitely a
no,
little person dressed
that
up
was
in a big set.
yeah,
100%.
and that's how they get the little glow around it, to make it look like that. That little technology is interesting. I think they used it somewhere else.
No, they literally, mate, they must have built a big set and had a
Yeah,
little person running around in a costume.
definitely.
They must have.
100%.
Totally worth it. But the cat gets blamed for this one. Gets fucked off, doesn't he? She's
What's his name? What's his name? Um, Not Captain. What's his name? General.
General.
Cat's called General. General the cat.
I
But
think that's from a somewhere. I
yeah,
think
I
that's from
do. I'm
somewhere.
trying to remember that that rings a bell big time. But yeah, the cat gets blamed by the mum, and the mum disappears the cat very sneakily. And then the trolls like go to town, but the cat gets back because the cat's a clever bastard. And there's a big cat versus troll fight, basically,
Wait,
right?
what's not to love about a cat versus troll?
It's a very good fight. I love it with his knife. He's like,
All the little noises are fucking weird. But obviously, mum and dad don't believe what's going on until they see the little knife and the guts in the fan.
I love the fact that he's on a record player as well, and it's like every day, every breath you take.
I love it when he jumps on the balloons. He's like,
Oh yeah,
aha! And then he realizes it's balloons. He's like, oh no!
and the
It was
cat's just going for it.
it was daft. It was daft. The whole thing's daft. But I don't know. I love the little. It was kind of just.
It's got heart.
It's
It's
fun. It was
got
fun
heart.
actually. Do you know what? It was good fun. It wasn't fantastic, but
Not to mention, I may add, a little soundtrack um, from none other than Alan Silvestri,
wow.
and it's
And
the
and
only
its
horror done.
own song
Yeah.
at the end as well. Cat's eye.
Mm.
We should do a fucking some
But
stream about on the amount of like movies that have.
one thing, did you guys think the cat was going to be a little bugger at the end? Did you think, oh no, he's going to
Yeah,
be fucking stealing their souls?
that would have definitely saved the film a bit for me, mate. I was literally, oh, is it the captain really the wrongin? No.
Yeah, it should have been. That would have been quite cool.
That would have been.
Very, very dark.
What book? So Matt's facts. We've got any because I kind of want to know what book this is from.
I've got
It's a
some.
screenplay. He just wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, yeah. I think the last one isn't in any books. I think the first two are in a book, but I
Yeah,
don't know what one.
he's done plenty of short story anthology sort of books, and he so
It might be from maybe Night Shift or something like that. I'm not sure. Um, Against the director Lewis Teague's wishes, the studio cut out a prologue that explained the cat's motivations. They considered it too silly, as it resulted in many viewers were confused by the connection between the three stories. But it could have been kind of interesting to see what the hell the cat was all about. Anyway, there are several references to other Stephen King works. James Woods watches The Dead Zone from 1983 and inquires who writes this crap. The cat is chased by foaming and bloodied St. Bernard, a reference to obviously Cujo, which was also directed by Lewis. I think I'm butchering his name, Teague or Tague. The cat is almost run over by a red Plymouth Fury with a bumper sticker saying, "Watch out for me, I'm pure evil. I am Christine," a reference to Christine, obviously. And Amanda's mother, Sally Ann, is reading Stephen King's 1983 novel Pet Cemetery, which was quite cool. In the Ledge episode, Ledge part, Kressner flips through a magazine on the coffee table. The magazine is the July 1976 issue of Penthouse, which featured the short story on which the segment was based. There you
oh,
go.
okay. Nice.
Alan Silverstreet's All Simp score bears significant resemblance to his full orchestra score for Back to the Future in 1985, also released in 1985. In a DVD commentary is supplied by director Lewis Teague. He states in it that in the Quitters Inc. segment, when the cat is being shot while standing on the electrified floor, the cat was actually leaping around wildly because the animal handler, hidden under the floor, is blowing compressed air onto it to surprise it. The cat's not actually being shocked. Because I did think to myself, I hope they didn't harm any pets in this because that looks pretty real. And total kills 9. 4 animals in total: 2 birds, 1 cat, and 1 fish. 4 humans, 3 men, 1 woman, and 1 monster, all trolls.
Did they shock the woman? Yeah, forget about the cat.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cat was
possibly. Yeah,
fine, but the woman was being blown by compressed air as well. That's quite funny.
possibly.
Yeah, lovely little choice. Good little fun movie. Enjoyed watching it, mate. Probably a 6 out of 10 for me.
Do you want to
Oh,
put?
definitely not that high. 4 out of 10 for me, Matt.
Oh, you
Oh, brutal.
absolute brutal. No, I'd say probably a 6 from me as well. To be
Nice.
fair, that's a special little place in my heart and on my shelf on VHS.
Lovely copy.
Yeah.
Nice, 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 nice.
So, whose pick is it next? I believe it's Mr. Boucher's.
Damn
Is it time?
It's time. I think it's time. I mean, we're looking at the 50th anniversary.
Yes, correct.
So fuck it. No, don't know. We need to wait on ceremony for episode 200 or anything like that.
No.
Next episode, we're going to be doing Jaws the Revenge. I mean, Jaws.
We're definitely going to need a bigger podcast for that.
Very good.
Here's the
Okay.
swimming with four-legged women.
We happy with that? We happy with finally tucking in Jaws?
What, my
100%.
favorite film of all time? Yes.
Mine also.
Any excuse.
I mean,
Any excuse.
I love this movie. I can't wait to watch it. I'll watch it with the family again. And I'm sure they'll go, why are we watching this again? We watched this last year. I'm like, every year.
Damn, Skippy.
Might watch.
Yeah, the question should be, why haven't we watched it this year already?
True. Sorry. Very cool. Well, technically I watched well, there we go. That's another episode down. 183. Please get in touch. If you can let us know what your thoughts on 28 Years Later were, especially that last 5 minutes. I would love to hear what you guys think. You little breathers. Moving on to episode 184, we're going to you can't wait. We're going to go to the cinema and watch Megan 2.0. Oh yes. And
At
then
least that leaves loads of time to talk about Jules.
yes, and then we're a massive bumper episode talking about the infamous Jaws the Revenge. I mean George. I might just watch Jaws the Revenge. Okay. Does anyone more thing to say? When there's no more room in hell, here's another podcast.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
You can follow us on Twitter at DrawOneLast, Instagram at DrawOneLastBreath, or pop us an email at DrawOneLastBreathPod@hotmail.com.